Hey Googlers, hey tubers, Gord here. Uh, this is kind of a mellow one. I realize that in Google, I, as my audience grew and grew, every once in a while I'd hit a milestone and I'd kind of reintroduce myself. But I've never introduced myself to YouTube, not in video form. So this is kind of a hello to everybody, my new subs, my old subs, and as I say, I don't like to call you guys followers or subs, your friends, your fellow potheads, or maybe just curious about cannabis, or some of you are following me because I rant about other subjects. Whatever it is, I'm Gord. Um, who am I? Somebody asked about my past once, so I think what I'll do is in CP Rail, that's who I worked for all my life. There was a time in the middle where I left for a while, went to university and college, and worked a few other odd jobs, full-time, part-time, whatever. But most of my life was spent with CP Rail, and in CP Rail, in business, excuse me, we'd always go into the business rooms, and yes, I was just take away this and this and this. No, then you'd have me naked, put on a tie, and you have me for the last 30 some years. But this is the real me. You're seeing the real me. But for a lot of years, I had to be in business. So, anyways, I'm sidetracking. I'm not as good at the executive summary as I used to be. We used to, when we'd get together, say on a weekend course on team building or something like that, where we really had to get to know each other, we would do a 4 or 3 minute introduction of ourselves. So here we go. Let me get a little closer, and we're going to start right at the beginning, but it's going to be a summary. I was born Gordon James Birch in a town called Weston, Ontario. It then became North York, which is now, I think, back to Weston, or maybe a part of Greater Toronto. My birth certificate now says Toronto. I was born in Ontario, Canada. I was born to Gordon Birch. Yes, I was. And Irma Birch, rest her soul. She passed away just recently. I am one of 4 children. I was the second. My sister was before me, and below me was a brother, and then another sister. All 4 born very close together, so we were very close growing up. We are not close in our later years. It's too bad. Such is life. We aren't far apart. We're just not close. So then, childhood. Childhood existed of a few years of running around, following my dad through the railway, throughout Ontario, and then into Montreal, where my youngest sister was born, and then we went on to Vancouver by the time I was 5. So really, most of my younger years were spent Vancouver, British Columbia from 5 till about 11 years old, and then Kelowna, British Columbia from 11 till I was 17. So British Columbia for my formative years. British Columbia is a very social province, very union-centered. That's probably why I really love Alberta, where I am now, because it's very anti-union. I'm very anti-union. I carry no labels. I am a hippie. I just have, in fact, I couldn't carry a label because I'd have too many. Labels restrict us. I spent a lot of my young life playing guitar. I love bass guitar. I love piano. I love trumpet. Most string instruments. I love music. Love music. I still love music. I can't play anymore. My hands. I am disabled. Life dealt me a lot of difficulties throughout my years, but it's brought me a lot of joy. I have 3 children from my first marriage. I met my wife. She had a 2-month-old child already. I adopted that child. I fell in love with that child. That child is Carrie, my first. Then I had 2 more. Then I raised those children. We don't need to go into details, but I raised them alone after a while of marriage, about 8 years of marriage, and did a really good job. Those are beautiful children that are in their 30s now, and all with great education and wonderful careers and families of their own. I now have another wife after a decade of marriage, almost 6 months away from a decade of marriage. She is leaving and taking our only son, my 6-year-old. Such is life. This is how we go. I again would keep this child. I am 54 now. It's a little more difficult, but I'm fully capable. Life is life. We don't need to get into the difficulties of things. I'm here. I created this channel at first to just spew out my anger towards all the people who don't understand that conspiracy theory usually becomes fact, and that's why I'm a theorist, because I dig out those facts that are as yet untold. But it has morphed into a weed tube because people have asked many questions. There's a lot of lack of knowledge out there, medicinally as well as recreationally. So I've opened this channel up for all of you and for my own learning. I have learned more just opening this channel because of discussions and the people I've met, the other tubers, the non-tubers, everybody. So I hope that through all this, I've answered most questions about me. I am who I am. I'm a hippie down right through the soul, right through the soul. I'm a pacifist through the soul. I couldn't hit a man, woman, or sometimes I can kill a spider, but I usually don't. Peace, love, harmony. Give people your smiles. They'll give you theirs. If they don't, oh well, keep giving out the smiles. They'll come back. All the love.